I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my God, like, God, please send me a sign because I don't know what to do. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Live Like No One Else. My name is Joel. This is my beautiful wife, Anna, over there. She's so beautiful. Look at her. Well, no, you're right here. You're right here. Yes, yes.
Kidding.
It's been about a week since we posted our last video. Last video was a fun, emotional video. Fun just for the Dodgers World Series. It was totally great. Thank you for watching that and experiencing our joy for our hometown boys in blue. That was so much fun. Today, a little bit more serious video. And you'll see she's gonna yawn. Do it.
I'm so sorry.
If you've seen our videos ever in the past, you know that.
I'm a big yawner.
Big yawner. Every time the camera goes on. It's okay. So if you
do
just
it
yawn,
in the morning.
let us know in the comments.
I have to do it in the morning.
I know. This is kind of nice. That's very nice.
Oh, no, it's nice. I'm just tired.
Yes, it's been a long day. As you can tell, it is a long day. So when you're watching, this will be after the election. And regardless of who you voted for, where we're at as a nation, we wanted to address some of the fear that you may have experienced or had if you are or have been in financial distress like we were. We started years ago when we got married. We are in our 16th year. Well, no, going into our 17th year. Well, no, 16 years of marriage.
We celebrate 17 years in the spring.
Yes. We celebrated 17 in this spring?
No,
we will. Okay. I was like, we have not been married 17 years. No, we will be married 17 years in May of next year. But when we both got married, like, we didn't really have much of a financial
know-how. We had nothing.
Know-how or history or tools. We didn't know anything.
Why don't they teach that stuff in high school?
I know. You should
just
need to
all
do that.
Throughout life.
It's the truth. I had student loan debt and I had credit card debt. We didn't really know what to do. We kind of just never talked about it, really.
Yeah. And I have a story, actually. So we were newlyweds. We had just gotten married recently, maybe like a year, 6 months.
Into our marriage, right?
Yeah. And we had people calling us. You know those calls? You know those calls?
Yes, those calls.
Those really uncomfortable calls, and you're like, nobody's home. So we...
AKA collectors. Yes, debt collectors.
So we were getting calls, and we were like poor. He was a college student working at Starbucks. I was like trying to make ends meet wherever I could.
Yeah.
I had like a million jobs. And so we were just trying to do whatever we could. And I remember like people were calling, and I'm like, why do we have to live this way? This doesn't seem right. And so
we didn't really talk finances either.
We didn't ever talk about
it.
We just did things, you know.
Or we did whatever felt good, I guess.
Well,
I did.
Within our very small means.
Yes.
So anyway, I gathered up like all the bills, and I like hid on the floor on the side of our bed. I don't even think he was home or in the room. I don't know. But I was on the side of our bed, and I'm like going through all the bills, and I'm like, well, if we cut back here, we could totally afford this. And this one only says $10 a month, and I know we're not paying anything on it right now. And at least we could do something, you know? And I was like, man, I'm about to have a conversation with my husband. And like, I don't want to like offend him, but I also don't want to have collectors calling. So I was really afraid to go to him and like bring this information to him. And I was not really known as like the smart one. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna bring it and see how it goes, you know.
How'd it go?
It didn't go very well. I sat him down and I said, hey, like, look at this. Like, I just realized that we could put like money towards this, especially if we like stop, you know, doing this, buying Starbucks or whatever.
Whatever we were doing, I don't remember.
Yeah, and this one, like, if we only put $10 a month to it, like, we could be doing this, and then they won't call us. And what if we just called this one and was like, hey, like, we're working on it. What can we give you right now to like get you off our backs? Like, let's just do something. Like, let's move forward with this instead of just sitting. And he was like, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And it'll sort itself out. And we can't even afford it right now. Over time, we'll do it or whatever.
And I said that probably because I was too terrified because I didn't know what to do. I was fearful. I didn't have the answers.
One, I didn't know what to do either. We were total noobs.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you don't talk about finances. No one ever does, you know.
Yeah,
and we didn't know what to do.
Conversation.
You probably fearful, right? You didn't want to insult me.
I didn't want to insult you. I didn't want to make you feel like you weren't a good provider. I didn't. You were in school.
I was in school. You were the one working.
The one that was really providing, but I knew that was kind of attached to maleness at times, and
so backwards and so
yeah,
wrong.
I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have this conversation, and then it didn't really go well, and I thought, well, I did my part, and it didn't go well, and so I'm just gonna let it go. Like, I did what I could do, and every once in a while I think I might like have tried to say a couple things here and there, but I really just kind of was like hands off, like, okay, I'm gonna just let him take the lead. He seems to have a strong opinion on it, so we'll just go with his way. And then if you fast forward
2 kids later,
we
still weren't really talking about money.
We really
at all
weren't. No, I think we'd been married like 7 years,
maybe
6 years, 5 or 6 years.
Ella was born, and I remember specifically one night Anna was telling me, like, I gotta get out of this house. We had some car issues. One of the cars was
we
messed
only
up.
had one car, and he was either he was at work all the time, and so I was at home with 2 kids. And I'm like, I gotta get out of this house sometimes, because we didn't have a backyard. Like, the neighbor would always get mad at Caleb for playing and like leaving balls out, and I'm like, I've gotta leave sometimes.
She needed to leave. She was so stressed about it.
I couldn't see friends, I couldn't see family, I couldn't do anything, so I was like always on hold until
I was around. And I had to, like, I remember her telling me very specifically we need to come up with a plan. Like, you need to come up with a plan, because but by this point she probably had already held on to so much anxiety and anger and maybe even resentment about it, that she needed a solution. And she came to me and said, you need to come up with a plan. Like, I'm going to give you till like this week. I remember you said like about a week. Like, I'm going to give you a week to figure it out. And she had it. And
I think it was the ultimatum was like, or I'm just going to go and buy myself a new car.
Something crazy like that.
I was just like, I totally trust you with the plan.
Right.
But you got to do it.
So I was met with this dilemma, like, what do I do? And I had no financial hope. I didn't know what to do. And so I remember specifically driving on the freeway, being overwhelmed and all these feelings. I don't know if you've ever been there, but like, having all the stress of the family, and being like, having to come up with some kind of financial solution. I was beside myself. I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my God, like, God, please send me a sign, because I don't know what to do. And I kid you not, I was driving on the 210 freeway near Pasadena, and I was listening to flipping AM radio, and I heard this guy talking about financial peace and hope, and it just made sense. The guy made me laugh, and I was like, who is this guy, right? And it just happened to be Dave Ramsey, TV radio personality, and I liked him. He was funny, he was smart, he made me think about things a little bit, more common sensely. Very, very, very simple.
It was very easy,
common
easily
sense
accessible.
sort of kind of thing. And so I came home and I told Anna, oh my gosh, I heard this guy. I had like this spark of like, there's an answer. Like, God answered my prayer. And I did some research. I realized he has a book, and I was like, we got to get this book. And it was finally like the following Easter time that year that Anna got me the book, and we read through the book so quickly. It was such a quick read. It was the Total Money Makeover. And we finally had something. We had hope. We had financial hope. And I loved it because it was a very simple set of steps that said, if you do this, this will happen. It's almost like if you think about if you're in a fitness program or you're an eating program, it's like if you do these certain things, you eat the right things, you do the proper, conditioning, things like that, you will see the results. Well, that's essentially what we ended up doing, is embarking on this financial journey to find financial peace through working the baby steps. And it's been a journey, you guys, and you guys have been a part of it. You may be there right now, especially during this year where things have just been so absolutely bonkers and crazy. Whoever thought this would have happened? I remember listening to Dave Ramsey and listening and reading the books and stuff and hearing his podcast, and just remembering this concept that within a 10-year span, you will have some kind of life-altering crisis that will happen, and are you going to be ready? You guys, we worked so hard to get out of debt, and we documented that here and on YouTube, and we found so much encouragement from you guys. I don't know if we've ever told you how much you matter to us, because you do. You rooted us on. You cheered for us.
You gave us encouragement when we were down.
Absolutely. You said, you can go. And then also you shared your stories with us, and we have been so touched. Which
helped us so much.
Absolutely. We've been so touched by the stories that you have shared, and it's encouraged us. So we just want to let you know that we have been there, guys. And despite what happens, with, the future of our United States politically and all that stuff, we just want you to know that you can do it. And if you've never done it before, we just want you to know that there is such thing as financial freedom, that you can find that, through budgeting, through saving, through hustling, through, getting that gazelle intensity. Now, this year was not the year we thought it would be for us. We thought we were going to be purchasing our first home, but that, that's okay. Things happen for a reason. And thank God that we actually had
what we had
financially saved up, because look, it has gotten us through this, and we see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's work coming down, in the beginning of the year, and when it comes, it's really going to come, and it's going to be great. But we've been able to get through this pandemic financially, and we're so grateful. That's a little history on where we have been. We made a lot of decisions in the past that affected where we are today.
Yes.
Those little decisions, a sacrifice, being content with things. I mean, I cannot tell you guys how grateful I am for this woman right here, because she is so cheap. She's so cheap. She's like, oh God, she even jokes about it. She's like, man, I save you so much money. Like, this is, she does, because she doesn't spend money on herself. And I tell her sometimes, like, just go. She's like, no, you just got so much money. She has always been the conservative person. I have always been the free spirit, just like, whatever, let's just buy, which got us in a lot of trouble in the beginning of our marriage. But we work as a team now, and thank God for all the mistakes that we've made along the road, because we are here because of it.
I'm going to speak to something that might be kind of big in your marriage, or might not be a factor at all, but in a lot of marriages, there is a real fear about speaking to your spouse about finances, about money. So I'm just going to encourage you, do it gently, do it with kindness to yourself, with kindness to your partner, acknowledge that it's a new thing, and acknowledge that you both want to move forward. You both want to get ahead. You both want to have financial peace and financial freedom. And so those are common grounds that you can connect on. You don't have to focus on the bad stuff, because the bad stuff's there. It's there, right? We have the bad stuff too, right?
There.
But there are common grounds that you can connect on, and it will just push the momentum forward for you guys.
So love, let me ask you, I'll interrupt you there, but how would you have done it differently way back when?
I think when he kind of rejected the first proposal, I think I wish I would have done it on my own. Like, made the calls, and then continued the conversation with you. Just keep trying, because you were never mean about it. You were never, I think, I mean, maybe not on my own, like maybe not like that, but to make the calls. Do you think
maybe it would have been more, if you were more persistent, like you came to me again and said, hey, this is really important, and I think we need to, like, I love you and I love that you're leading us, but I really think we should be looking at these things and looking at them together.
I think I wish I would have had the wisdom to, like, put together a plan, like maybe on paper, done some more research, like on my own.
We didn't know what we were doing, though. I mean, we were kids.
But, like, seek out somebody who does have financial success. You know, like, I think,
do what they do. Yeah,
I think I would have liked to have done that before. Like, if I could go back and do it all again, I think what I would do is I'd call somebody who was financially successful, and I would have said, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what we have. And how should I move forward? How can I make a plan that I can present to him that doesn't feel offensive but feels progressive?
Yeah, I just say you just tell him to you should have told me to shut up and listen to me.
Well, I mean,
don't do that.
There are a lot of marriages that people can't do that, sadly.
I know. I know.
I want to support that.
That's true.
So.
I'm going off the rails now.
You're so cute. You're so cute.
I just know that I just didn't know a lot of things back then, and I really wish, God, it's the voice of regret. It's wishing that I would have listened way back then.
Yeah.
And to think how far, ahead we could be today, but at the same time, cannot beat yourself up, because there's always today. You can't look in the back and the what ifs or the I could have, should have.
Yeah.
It's today. You have today. You have the next 24 hours, and tomorrow's a new day, and you can decide to wake up and stare money in the face and say, I am going to do this now. This is the year that we become debt free amid all the pandemic and all this stuff. This is the year that we decide to work as a family, as a husband and wife, as partners, to really tackle our finances. This is the year you can do that. So we don't have to worry about what was behind us, and we can move forward, because there is hope. There is always hope in a new, brighter day and a future.
So I wanted to add something. I think that it's important for me to say, just for you, and also for wives out there, or partners who might be dealing with my side of things, and maybe you are the one who's afraid, but you're the more financially conservative. There was a part of me that felt like relieved, like I could just hide behind his financial negligence. Like, okay, like I do still want my lattes, and I do still want, to have the fun that I want to have, but I don't want any of the responsibility. So I presented my case, and I really believed in it. And once I had the rejection, I think I was kind of like, well, if it's on him, then, if we sink, like
we sank.
I did my part.
We sank.
Well, but I mean, I'm culpable there too, because I voluntarily kind of hid behind you and just said, all right, well, like, oh no, we can't afford it, but can we? Can we? And if he said yes, then I was like, oh, I'm off the hook. He said we could afford it, or whatever. So don't be like that. Don't be like that.
There you go. Just don't do that. Okay.
Don't hide behind that. Stand up for it and say, no, I know I need to do the right thing. It's discipline. It's sacrifice. It's contentment.
Hard. It's so hard. I know.
It's hard, and it is hard. But guess what? There is the other side.
And the other side is great. Thank you for taking some time, and just know you can always learn from mistakes, just like us. Okay, don't do it like us. That's the slogan of the YouTube channel. Don't do it like us.
Don't do it like us.
Look, guys, we love you. We thank you for being part of this community. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comments. Do you feel hopeless right now as far as your finances go? What is your biggest fear with money? Let us know in the comments, okay? We want to address those. We love you guys. Stay safe and healthy.